Bye, have a great time.
ER, this is King Black. I wanted to start this video off with another excerpt from the journal that I was keeping after Maria, a little bit of a day by day. This was what I put as one of the funniest things I ever heard. This happened on day 9 post Maria, and I had written that the one radio station left on air after Maria had various officials stop by to talk about what was happening and any new developments. Well, one time they had the representative of the entire district on, and she was talking about how the hurricane seems to have brought families closer together. She then went on to use the following as an example. She said while she was driving through one of the communities by the river, and she saw how there were families in the river washing clothes by hand and cooking and smiling and laughing with each other, that she felt like everything was going to be all right again. And in my mind, I couldn't help but think, man, this woman right here wasn't out on some trip to a third world country, you know. People were out in the river because they had no choice, because there's no light or water. They were laughing probably as a way to keep their sanity, because I can almost guarantee when the light and water comes back on and she drives by again, there ain't going to be nobody in the river washing clothes. Everybody's going to be inside with either fans or their AC on to get away from the constant above 90-degree heat. And about 9 days of straight grilling on a charcoal grill, I don't think I'll be thinking of doing a barbecue anytime soon, even for the 4th of July. And that was the end of my excerpt of day 9 post Maria. Now, the main topic of this video that I wanted to get into was, what will our generation be like when we're old? You know, we look around and we see the typical old people right now of the past generation, our grandparents, or great grandparents, dressed in, the the grandpa, the great grandpa is usually dressed in that either gray or black dress pants with a white t-shirt or a simple button down with a pattern on it. So if that was their style, that's their thing when they get to that age. How's this generation going to be when we get to their ages? You know, for those of us that were born in the 80s and 90s, and even now in the early 2000s, you know, we have listened to stuff like DMX, Cardi B, Tupac, so on and so forth. You know, some of y'all, Nicki Minaj, Nas, and I could keep going forever, especially with all these new artists coming out. You know, it seems like there's a new rapper on the scene every day. Just check out VladTV.com, and they got interviews with people you probably never even heard of in your life or even know exist. But it had me thinking, what are we going to look like? Are we going to go the traditional route? Are we also going to be wearing those gray church pants, that white cotton t-shirt, or see women in the old lady dresses? You know, they're looking their Sunday best all the time. Or will we all be walking like something that came out of a Bruno Mars video? You know, will we be having J's on at 60, 70 years old? Since that's what we grew up with, that's what was our style. Or are we going to adopt the past generation style? You know, what are we going to be remembered for? Because we have one thing that is unique that other generations don't have, and that's the invention and the innovation of the internet. They didn't have the internet the way it is now in the 70s. There was no such thing as YouTube or watching videos. Everything was text based, for the most part. And if you did want to see a picture, it took like freaking 20-30 minutes for it to download on a 56K modem, and most of y'all don't even know what that is. Most of y'all don't know the struggle of trying to get those free AOL CDs with 5,000 hours of internet on it. Now, or will we be remembered for the dumb stuff, like the kids that will be born 15 to 20 years from now, will they see when we were doing the, well, not we, because I wasn't doing it, but when people started doing the Tide Pod challenge, instead of being remembered for innovations in science, putting a man on the moon like back in the 60s, is our great achievement. Is it going to be the Tide Pod challenge and bitching and whining about every single little thing, about Confederate statues, about putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, things that in the big picture don't really matter. Instead of worrying about politics and what's going on in this world, we're worried about petty stuff. Do you envision when we get to be great grandparents and grandparents? Do you envision us wearing some OG Jordan retros, or are we gonna be wearing Air Force Ones? Are we gonna be still listening to that Nicki Minaj, freaking DMX when we're 60, 70 years old? Are we gonna have the bangers going? We're gonna have Tekashi 6ix9ine for those of y'all who are fans of him. We're gonna have it blasting from the radio. That's gonna be our old people music. What the heck are the kids are gonna be into 20 or 30 years from now? We don't know. All we can do is hope that they learn from our past mistakes. You know, from the Tide Pod challenge, the freaking spinner fad, the freaking Harlem Shake phenomenon that was happening, all this violence over social media posts, people dying over a tweet. Will we have figured out the answer to stopping all that nonsense? Are we going to be riding on Cadillacs on 20s and 25s for those of us that still have our driver's license when we reach that old age? Is gangbanging going to mean anything in 20 to 30 years from now? Times are evolving. It's a confusing ass time, man. So many things don't make sense. Things that made sense back in 94, 95, 96 that seemed so clear cut has turned into a big ass gray area now. Freaking ambiguous as hell. Have no idea what to call anybody anymore. Anybody can get offended for anything. Nobody can just take it to the chin and keep moving.